bouncing. Moscow got me sounding right. I ain't know I sound this tight. Stay doing me, you niggas
Here,
do it like I be
Watch Your Mouth podcast number 2. This is the Interior or interi.HER branding podcast. Today we're going to sit down and talk to Jess of interi.HER. She's going to kind of go through the motions of coming to Clique, why she came to Clique, the platform she's trying to create. And this is going to be kind of like a behind the scenes of what you can expect of the branding, quote unquote, side of Clique. I have that on the website. We have a section for branding. You can read a little bit about how I feel about the word itself, seeing it as a buzzword. But for right now, for everyone to understand in an easily digestible way, we're going to just use the term branding. We will create a new term for this. When? I'm not 100% sure, but throughout our process and throughout the platform, we'll find a new term for this, because a lot of these things that we're creating, these platforms, they're multi-dimensional and they're so many social media platforms are going to kind of tie into not just the websites or the outlets that we're creating. So here we go. Clique podcast number 2, featuring Jess of interi.HER. Jess, welcome.
Hi guys, how are you?
We're just going to say cheers. I'm going to tell the people what we're sipping on.
I have a mango White Claw in a coffee mug because that's the life I live.
Wow. Sounds trashy, but okay. No, actually.
It's double walled, so I guess it makes me extra bouge.
So the pinky's not up right now?
Pinky's not up.
Okay, dope. And then I got some Brugal in my cup here with a little bit of cranberry and lemonade. That tastes exactly like a peach ring.
Like the true honorary Dominican that you are.
I'm not gonna lie, it's really nice to wear the title.
You're welcome for giving up.
Oh, I'm trying. I'm actually trying to hold the title heavy. But yeah, we have you here because we definitely want to talk about interi.HER, and we want to talk about what we're gonna do in tandem. With Clique. You're obviously an editor of Clique. Without you, Clique wouldn't be possible. I've been talking about starting Clique, starting a website, starting a magazine, doing a podcast. I've been talking about doing that since 2016. And not until this year, I was working on the website and, I just decided to say, we're going to put everything up. So.
And I'm glad. I'm so glad to see that you're doing the things that you wanted to do and now helping me build the brand that I've been trying to build for at least a year.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about interi.HER, and then we can kind of go into the different aspects of how Clique is going to help you achieve certain goals and how you're going to get these certain things played out, or what your goals are for the product itself or the platform itself. Where'd you come up with the name interi.HER?
So I came up with the name because, as you all probably know, Chris is an architect. And since we've been dating, the whole time I have said I'm an architect adjacent because I have him. I love house stuff. It's all I wanted to be a part of. But I don't like the word interior design. I think it's kind of clunky. So I kind of just shortened it a little bit and just made it seem like, okay, it's interiors, but I'm also a girl. So I kind of just combined interior and her. So it's kind of a little play on words, a little cute.
And it's also kind of like I can speak to it because I know what the background of the brand is, but moving forward, I'm sure I'm not going to be able to touch on in detail for some of the other things that we build here. Maybe I will, but I know interior is kind of supposed to be like a journey of you, kind of following you and what you bring to the table for the platform itself. because a lot of the times I think with the design world, seeing things from an outside perspective brings like a fresh set of eyes or a breath of fresh air into the field. So
yeah, because let's be honest, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
Yeah, but
interiors is something I love. I love putting like rugs and couches and all this stuff together. But in all honesty, no idea what I'm doing. We're going to be learning together. If I figure out how to do something DIY, like trim, whatever, it's going to be something that I kind of want to share so that people just like me can understand how to do it and learn from someone, for lack of a better word, that is a woman of color. Like, you don't really see a lot of us out here.
Because you've been following interior people for quite some time. You follow different blogs and different personas online.
My God, you have no idea. Chris Loves Julia literally watch the stories every single day.
Oh, shout people out. That's one thing, like, I definitely want to preface. Like, I don't want to take you off on a tangent. Like, I don't want to go off on a tangent on your thought, but I just want to preface this being such an early episode of the podcast. This podcast is going to be one of those places where you're going to hear us shout people out and just talk about different things that we look into or different platforms that we big up, just for the sake of we like what they're doing. So you're going to hear us shout out a lot of people as time goes on. And in hopes of, us collaborating with those people. The closed mouths don't get fed, and if you don't ask questions, you're never going to get answers.
Facts.
So I think that's important. Going back to like your thought of being a woman of color in this space, I think it's important. And I think it's something that we definitely should definitely document the whole brand of interior, as you will, like, coming to fruition.
I want this brand to be every Instagram page, every hashtag goals Instagram page that everyone loves, but it's also from someone that might look like you, if you're not the average white person. Like, unfortunately, a lot of the pages are. Nothing putting them down or anything, but I guess it's kind of easier to learn something from someone that you relate to. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of what I want this page to be. Yeah. I want it to be me learning along with everyone else. And if not, like, me teaching the people the things that I learned in the faults, because let's be honest, I am a perfectionist, but I also am impulsive. Wow. So I do things quickly, and if I have to fix them, you got to fix them. You want things to look nice. So this is the process of us learning together. Yeah. But making it pretty,
I feel you. I also think that's important. I tend to overanalyze, and I get like the analysis paralysis, as you will, as a lot of designers and creatives get. I'm trying to break out of that. There's a lot of really poor designer habits, which I'm sure we'll discuss ad nauseum. A lot of these habits and a lot of these like designer things that we kind of get accustomed to in the field. We'll hear other people's stories of getting the analysis paralysis, but I think honestly what you're saying is just doing and creating action. And if you fall on your face, you just get up.
And that's why I'm glad I'm not a part of the field. Because I feel like I'm able to make those mistakes and learn along the way. Whereas if you make a mistake, it's kind of on show. Because it's in a drawing and you're giving it to people. And I'm just over here making Pinterest boards.
Yeah, I made that mistake already. I've already made
Hey, but you do a good job. Don't stop putting yourself down.
Yeah, but you shouldn't look at... Now, you're going to hear the I guess, architectural perspective or my perspective on that, where you being part of the field or not being part of the field, like 1 foot in, 1 foot out, just making Pinterest boards, that may not garner you the kind of things you're trying to go after. So I think you should probably strive toward being as close to the field.
I want to learn how to do drawings and things like that. It's just in the very beginning, will that possibly be happening? Probably not. But we'll get there. Like, yeah. I'm not saying I'm not going to take your advice and not listen, because I know there's SketchUp and CAD files in my future.
Well, as there should be. If you're going to call yourself architecture adjacent,
Distant adjacent, maybe.
But I think architecture adjacent fits. It's cool. It's interesting. It's something that suits your personality, you know. And I think coming from someone in the field, if you're gonna create a platform like this and being someone that's kind of distant from the field itself, and you kind of just like certain aspects of it, yeah, that's great. But I think you should kind of challenge yourself into to be more broad with the things that you're covering, and understand that what you may think is like quote unquote interior design or interior architecture even, you should define that by kind of industry standards, but not so much, because you should have your own idea of what this is, and it's your own persona, you testing out the waters, if you will.
Yeah.
But you definitely should see what people in the industry are talking about, the ideas they formulate, and put yourself in that setting, if you will. I think it'll be more beneficial overall. True. As a platform. You'll get more out of it, and it'll look a little bit more professional, which I'm glad we're kind of putting these things.
And that's why I have you to guide me.
I'm trying. That's what I'm here for. Because this is kind of going to be, I guess, part of the whole path to pedagogy part of the website too.
Pedagogy,
yeah. On Clique's website, clique.the.mag.com, within the design part, there's a path to pedagogy. So it's going to follow not just my path through becoming an architect, becoming a professor, which is what I'm trying to do one day, is be a design professor, an architectural design professor somewhere. And that'll kind of follow, building this brand. How do I make the architectural notions that I learned in school easy to digest to someone who isn't in this field? How do I bridge the gap between someone that has a creative mind and they want to use it for either interior design or architecture? So I think this is going to be really nice for everybody to see what interior brings to the table as far as part of the Clique platform, but what you build yourself. I'm really proud of you. I want to see where you take this, because it's a very interesting concept for a platform, and we'll kind of get into different things that could be very easily done to make it look a little bit more put together and professional, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, and I'm glad now we have this platform, not just for you to help me, because obviously I'm very grateful and you're fantastic at doing this stuff, especially how things look aesthetically and going everything that route. But it's also for you guys to learn. Like, I don't know absolutely everything. Chris doesn't know absolutely everything. So we're here to learn together and not just create my brand, but also helping you guys create yours. So absolutely. Everything from creating a logo, what aesthetically looks nice, what people are going for in the times. People are every day changing their logos to fit a new aesthetic or what people are more attracted to, and layouts and creating a website and what's the next step, building socials and stuff like that. So it's not just for us and creating my brand and helping Chris with Clique, but also to help everyone figure out where the heck do I start if I want to build a social media, a social media page. I want to build a blog. I want to do X. I want to do Y. I want to do Z. This is kind of a place where you can start and figure out, what the heck do I need to do? What is the first step?
Yeah, and I think that being said, it sounds weird, but you shouldn't strive for a specific result, because you'll definitely drive yourself crazy that way.
Yeah, everything can't be perfect, unfortunately. Like I said, I am a perfectionist, but I also know that everything's not going to come out perfect the first time that you do it. You have to keep trying and keep evolving and continuing to form your identity, your brand to fit the people that are watching you. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, you're not going to do anything without people supporting you. So if they want a certain thing, maybe you add a little bit of that to what you're doing, or continuing to do that a little bit more. So that's kind of what this is.
Absolutely. But what I think the big thing is for us to tackle right now is definitely some sort of logo. But what I would tell, designers that I've seen work for myself, and it may not work for you. Everything is very trial and error, but I would say these are not just my thoughts. These are not just my ideas. These aren't even original thoughts or ideas or ways of creating a platform. This is just what we did, and we saw somewhat of results. And it's a collaboration chamber. Like, I want to preface that 100%. Like, if you have other ideas, or if you've heard of other ideas on how to create content or how to get that content out to people and to build some sort of amassed following, like, for sure, share it. I mean,
yeah, especially if you think you have a better idea. We're always out here to learn.
Yeah, exactly. I think the biggest result of that, or like example of using the internet to your advantage, I think the biggest one is Andrew Schultz. Shout out Asshole Army. Keep it tight. The way you saw his quote unquote personal brand, which again, I really think we're gonna have to find a new way of describing that, but the way he has like his platform set up and the different like tiers or different places that his one networking hub takes you to is something that I think should be emulated, and I'm pretty sure he preaches to emulate kind of his
everyone can
or his style a little bit.
Everyone can learn from what he does, because at the end of the day, what he's doing is drawing people in, and once he draws people in,
he distributes
them to other places. So,
which is like a no-brainer thing. Like, apparently that's not apparently.
It sounds like a no-brainer.
It sounds like a pretty common sense thing, which a lot of people do, and they just don't, I guess, put it into words or like put it into like an idea, but like it's pretty no-brainer. Like, that's literally like the formula.
I feel
Gary Vee's been talking about that for a very long time now, and he just, when one platform goes down, you kind of substitute it for another. It's like streams of income.
Yeah, but it has to be the right person for you. You can't, yes, everybody can have great ideas, but if that's not your person to listen to, you're not going to listen.
Yeah, but that's fine. I'm sure with Interior, you're going to have, you're going to amass yourself a following. And I don't know about you, but I know with Clique and even with any other thing that we end up building here, I'm just speaking on myself, but I personally much rather have a small, tight-knit group of a following that is very engaged and we collaborate and have a dialogue, like an important dialogue with, as opposed to having like this large following that I don't really talk to or have a dialogue with, or it's just a thing to be part of because it's trendy. I don't really see value in that.
To be honest, I'm out here for everybody. If I can help one person, if I can help 50, if I can help 100, 1,000, 1,000,000, I'm out here for everybody that wants, anybody and everybody that wants to listen.
Yeah, no, I understand. I definitely respect what you're saying. That's good. So do whatever you got to do to get yourself to that point. I think right now the biggest thing is creating an identity for yourself. Mm-hmm. Making sure that there's consistent things like whatever font you're using within your logo. If you end up going with the text logo, like most of our logos are right now.
And probably where we're going to go with, if we haven't already come up with it, we've done like an initial consultation together kind of thing about what exactly I want. If I want to keep the logo simple, which in my case I do, I don't want something very out there. I kind of want something that's just simple to read, catches somebody's attention, and it's nice at the end of, like, I don't want something so extra, even though I'm not in my personal life. I don't want something so extra out of a logo. Like, I kind of want it a little bit simple, easy to read, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're going for. It looks like we're sticking to normal text, maybe a bar through the word, maybe like a bar around the word, different color background, different color letter. Just kind of sticking to a more simple logo because in my eyes, that's kind of what people are switching their logos to.
Mm-hmm.
Like designer brands are doing it, big box stores. Everybody's kind of switching their logo to be just that little bit simpler.
Yeah.
I don't want something so extra, these big bubbly letters. Like, one, that's not me, but...
Yeah. I just think it's important. Like, you kind of have the bones of your for your Instagram anyway, which I think could easily be followed over to LinkedIn if you use the posts as short form articles and blog posts.
Do you think LinkedIn's really necessary?
Personally, I'm using a LinkedIn. I think it's important that you have, like, I mean, this is just me. This is just my opinion. Having your 3 social medias plus your website, that gives you 4, I guess, distribution platforms, if you will. The website being the hub of wherever you're doing everything. You intake people there and you distribute to the 3 other social media platforms. For Clique, that's Interior. That's LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm a part of Clique already.
Oh, yeah, you've been part of Clique. But I think for us, it's Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. LinkedIn specifically because you can do articles and like a conversation on LinkedIn. Not that you can't do that on Instagram, but it's more fitting.
Do you think that fits everybody's brand?
Not necessarily. I think do what works for you. If only one works for you, you could do your website and maybe have an Instagram. If that works for you, then yeah, you're going to be going ham on Instagram and using whatever.
Yeah, because that's what I like. I've tried to do this before with something,
right?
With something else. Before I was doing like more like a food blog kind of thing. At the end of the day, I wanted to start something because I was one of those #vegans on Instagram. I've found another path for myself, but when I first found that, I wanted to keep myself accountable. So what I did was I started an Instagram and I started sharing my food pictures, and eventually I took it to a blog. It didn't really work out for me because I realized I'm not very passionate about posting my food online. I barely like to take food pictures. So it just wasn't for me. So what I'm trying to do is convert that page into something that I absolutely love. At the end, I started kind of doing personal stuff and adding more personal things. And it really made a difference because I felt like you could kind of tell I was kind of not into the food thing.
Right.
And a few people caught on to that. And when I started posting more personal stuff, it got a little bit easier.
Did it get easier?
It did.
That's
because
great.
I wasn't into the food thing, at all.
Right.
It was not my cup of tea. What I really like is crime stuff and housewares.
Wow, that's going to be one crazy podcast.
That's what I love. And I don't get sick of it. I could go to Home Goods every single day, to your dismay, but I could do it every single day and not ever get sick of it. So I was like, why not, as a side gig, start a platform?
Absolutely. I think it's good. I think it's good that you're going down that route. And obviously, I think the biggest thing is time flexibility. Creating these platforms is so you can at one point have a side gig or side hustle that is another stream of income.
Yeah, because no one's trying to have a 9-to-5 out here now.
No, some people do. Some people like a 9-to-5. And honestly, I don't knock it because I understand why you would have it. If you're working in a big corporation doing what you went to school for, let's say,
congrats, first and foremost.
No, absolutely. Let's say in the case of design or architecture, let's say you got a degree in architecture and you're working at a big corporation where you're getting your benefits, you're getting a 401k match.
Oh, congrats.
Yo, just know that's a big deal. And a lot of people knock the whole 9 to 5, but guess what? The 9 to 5 works and it helps people out. Now, as long as, I've seen myself get into this and I'm not working this, I'm working a traditional 9 to 5, but like, there's certain things where it's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I think using the time or the downtime that you have from that 9 to 5 to do some sort of little side hustle or even just explore different ideas to get you out of the rat race.
Yeah,
is
let's
important.
break that cubicle mold.
You don't necessarily, everybody doesn't necessarily have to go out and do a side hustle. I don't think that's the case, but if you decide to come up with like a creative outlet, maybe you decide to paint or like write or I don't know, do yoga on the side. I think you definitely need to shift down, if you will. You need to ramp down in that constant flow of energy in the workplace. It's a rat race. You have someone telling you X, Y, and Z what to do, or you have, someone, some external source putting some sort of stress on you. Mind you, I think a little bit of stress is okay. I think you should
everything brings you stress, even a job that you love.
Yeah, you should.
I do something that I'm good at and that I like, but we also want to do the things that we love on the side.
Yeah, I think
so. Although 9 to 5s are for a lot of people, building businesses are for a lot of people, and I think that's kind of in the place that we're living right now, and kind of the thing that we want to do on the side to benefit us.
Yeah, that's the goal, to kind of go from a 9 to 5 to the side hustle, and even into building our own business wherever that may take us.
Yeah,
and continuing the side hustle, and growing that into something more. Mm-hmm. And this is kind of just like a journal, if you will. So people see it, interact with it, tell us, what they did, what worked for them. We're always open to different interpretations. I think that's important to see too.
And building our own thing.
Right.
Because, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, but the one thing, kind of getting back to the whole LinkedIn question, it's cool to have. I think their interface is good to have as like its own individual page. I guess for the design field it works, and major professional quote unquote fields it works.
Yeah, because I see it as more of a professional social. So like lawyers and paralegals and architects and interior designers that I guess kind of want to boast themselves up a little bit, put some articles on there that they have from their website.
It's a networking.
Yeah, like I could see it for that, but I feel like it's kind of difficult to picture a blog on it or someone that does like more fashion stuff. I don't know. In my head, I picture that more on Instagram.
Right.
Whereas I would think like wilder things go to Twitter.
Yeah, we could touch on that. But just so we can emphatically end the whole LinkedIn discussion, the reason I would put your subject matter on LinkedIn is because you can get the best of both worlds. Because Instagram, let's be honest, all these social media platforms are extremely saturated with whatever content you're going to put out. Some more than others. But I think it'd be interesting to see that perspective on LinkedIn if you package it correctly.
True, yeah, because you want to make yourself different.
It could drive people to the website. So as long as it's driving people to the website, having that third arm of your platform, if you will, is always going to be something that's a little bit more important if you do look after it and do take care of it. Now, if it's just sitting there stagnant and you're not really looking at it, and you're not interacting with people, it's going to be like anything else. It's just going to sit stagnant and then it may not work, which in the beginning stages, it's about discipline and getting after it when it comes to stuff like that. So, but if you choose to just do it on Instagram, I think it's good, but just remember that it's heavily saturated, and if it gets too saturated where that market starts to decline, you're not going to have a second option to go to, or you're going to be starting a second option from scratch when you could have had that that other branch
From the beginning.
building numbers as the first one or the other branches are building.
So it's not like CYA. It's giving yourself that option.
You can
Making
say
yourself
it's
just
for
that.
sure CYA. No, it's for sure CYA, and this is why I'll say
And
it.
that's cover your ass for anybody that doesn't know.
It is that because at some point in time, some of the platforms are going to kind of keel over or give out or take a downturn.
And we're out here making the side gig the main gig, so we want it to be for a long time.
We want those to work out. We want those to profit. But you have to be able to say, okay, this is uncharted territory. I should get my platform on it. If that be LinkedIn for you, let's just say. I don't know, or some people are saying TikTok, let's just say.
I'm going to be the Christopher Columbus of blogs on LinkedIn.
Lord, no. You can't use Christopher Columbus anymore, bro. Relax.
Oof, sorry.
Man. You're going to be the Dora the Explorer of LinkedIn.
Well, I don't have a backpack.
All right, whatever, bro. Jeez. Anyway, but I think it is important to know what you're good at, know where you're going to bring people to, what you're more savvy in. Because I'm also not going to tell someone that's not geared to that like professional setting, I guess, which is that's just happens to be the audience for that platform. It is what it is. So I mean, if that's not what your platform is, find a different one.
Yeah. Because what I mainly want to do and keep it to is, although I think blogs are kind of early 2000s, I do want to start there, maybe transition to videos or something like that.
Video content is important. We're definitely going to work on that for all the stuff.
I definitely want, for right now, the main thing to be the website.
Okay.
Where can you find the things that I find? Where can you find the information for how to do something that I've tried and figured out the instructions for? I want it just to be an easy place to find everything that you need to do a project. Yeah. Not like, oh, okay, I have to go to 50 like YouTube results, like Google results to figure out what's the best paint for a trim. Like, let's be honest, no one wants to do that. I barely want to do it, which is why I want to create the resource for it.
So it's a resource for frequently asked questions, more or less.
Yeah. Like, okay, fair. My FAQ on the thing that I wanted to do for someone else's ease.
Dope. I like it. I think that kind of covers like you as the creator of Interior, what Interior is going to bring, how it like is part of Clique.
Yeah, and watch out for phase 2 because that's website creation.
Yeah, we got to go into website creation. Well, and your socials. We still got to get the socials up and going.
Yeah, for sure.
Your Instagram is up and going yet?
It is open, no post. So we will get there.
Okay.
We will get there.
Okay. I think the first step with that is obviously once your logo is there, have the logo go up, have the stories, archive your stories, and then set up the posts as mini blogs or previews to those blogs so that people can be driven toward the website where the actual blog will be.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I definitely want to do the website, launch everything together. Let's just get it done. Let's get it up and running.
Dope. Now, what I'm kind of looking into is, you as a creative, you're now part of Clique. You're an editor of Clique. You helped me go through and edit a lot of the first few posts in Clique. A lot of the
I'm a grammar Nazi out here. Okay?
Stuff.
Not a Nazi, but that's kind of the only word for it. So that's what I'm going to use.
It's a grammar stickler. Damn.
Okay, so we'll go with that.
Yeah, you do that. What's to find a synonym for that?
We'll go with that one because that sounds a lot better.
Anyway, but yeah, I think there was a lot that went into it. So thank you for being part of that. And
my pleasure.
And I think as you get further into the interiors game, you'll learn more classical architectural things. You'll begin to see how certain things like space works, how certain things like furniture and like shelving and millwork start to affect those spaces.
And how trim is not an architectural detail.
All right, we can go on a whole tangent of that. But
please, guys, don't say that in front of Chris because he will lose his mind.
It's fine. Not a big deal.
Ceiling roses are not a thing of architectural detail
anymore. They were a thing. We could get into that now.
Or they do not like.
But the thing is, okay, this is the thing. People hear a word or a phrase, or they'll hear architects kind of talking with their set of words.
Mm-hmm.
What is that called?
Jargon?
Yeah, there you go. Architectural jargon. And there's probably a lot of people within my generation of architects and designers that think it's super pretentious. And at times we don't catch ourselves, but people will hear that and they kind of use it as a way to put their nose up in the air. And they're like, oh, this is architectural, so it sounds expensive, so it sounds like fancy. Like,
whereas in most people
are
like
shit about your trim.
Or
to me, I don't think that looks nice. But.
Or where most people are like, oh, this gives the place character. Like, let's be honest, that just means it looks old.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I don't like that. But there's also something that we have to bridge the gap as architects and designers go. It's kind of on us to bridge the gap between us, our clients, and the people that talk about architecture and space. If we constantly put the jargon out there and don't make this easily digestible, people are just going to use it as this like high society, only for the elite kind of thing.
And that's the gap I kind of want to bridge.
You want to bridge that?
Yeah. Okay. Like, thankfully, I have you to fill me in on that world, but if it weren't for you, I would say I would walk into like a house built in the 80s and be like, oh my God, it has so much character. When in reality, I'm just like, yo, this is old. Like, It has 80s features. It has green carpet, whatever. Like, obviously, those aren't things that I like. So I'm able to kind of use the expertise that you have to build the place where we are now.
Right.
Because where we're going to be doing this is in our apartment. The first place that we're going to be kind of transforming and going through and figuring it out is where we live right now.
So interior is going to document
the de-uglification of our apartment.
Okay, so I mean, in a more formal way of putting it, you're going to be able to take space and kind of turn it into something that could be, I guess, more modernized or
something you're proud of. Like, it doesn't need to be modern or boho or farmhouse, just something that you like to come home to every day.
Right.
When we first got here, the walls were yellow. We could not take it.
Yeah, so we went ahead and painted.
So there's little things that you could do, make small upgrades. We will hopefully be doing smaller projects, but there are also big projects to tackle in here. So there's ways that we can figure out how to explain that to people. Definitely. Hey, like, you don't have to go out and pay a tradesman to do absolutely everything. There's things that you can do, and here's how.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's absolutely right. I think you handling that part of it, and by all means, definitely explore other people's design ideas.
Oh, 100%.
Styles and perspectives, because mine is definitely not the end all be all, and mine is not the greatest.
Mr. I love symmetry.
Yeah, whatever. I'm breaking out of it. Don't put that on me, Ricky Bobby. Anyway, but I think the big part of it is seeing how these different moves make different spaces feel different, which that's where people get hung up on this brings character or this feels warm, quote unquote. People say those things and they're not 100% sure what's, creating that effect, which is something that I've had conversations with Ramses, who you'll hear on the podcast at some point. We've had architecture conversations of why we never learned psychology of architecture or psychology of space, if you will. So I think that's something that he and I we'll probably delve into as well as you.
Yeah, because I still haven't learned everything from you guys. Obviously, I'm never going to stop learning from you guys. So this is a process that we can kind of all do together. And I don't want to do this alone. At the end of the day, I'm not the best person. I don't know absolutely everything about the field. I don't know if you can take a wall down or if it's structural or if it's just there to be a wall. So you do have to consult people, at least for my specific thing.
For everybody.
Outside of anything that you don't feel comfortable doing or that you really don't have the knowledge. Not everything that I want to do is out here on Google. I can't put a beam in a roof and it's out here on Google. Like, there's things that you need professionals for. And I'm thankful that I have you guys for that. But I also want to be able to give that expertise to people that want to do something in their space but can't necessarily afford it. Like,
Absolutely.
We're not out here with all the money in the world. So I'm going to be able to give at least somebody a small resource to be able to find those things.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And there'll be more interior and Clique and Studio Nobody collaboration. You can find Randy Stewart at studionobody.com and you can follow him on Studio Nobody _. That's one of my best friends from architecture school. We'll have him on here and we'll definitely talk about these different things, architectural topics and stuff like that once we get him in here. But I think it's important that you, again, get many perspectives when you're out here doing not just these platforms that you're building, but whenever you delve into these interior design projects or even if you're just tackling a room, definitely get multiple perspectives on how something is going to potentially look. Let's say you're adding paint and maybe some shelves or furniture into a room. A lot of people think they know what something's going to look like, and when they get into that room or space or area within their house, they realize the paint is too dark or the paint is too blue for that area, and that could be avoided if you take certain steps, which we will go over in certain blog posts and videos. Again, not new or original content, but it's from another perspective. So you can, someone like going to a doctor, you can get a second opinion, or you can see a different style.
Exactly. But guys, you also have to remember, you don't have to listen to everyone.
Yeah, that's true.
Me and Chris don't always agree, and sometimes he has ideas that I think are stupid, but come out fantastic. And you'll see at least one of those projects that is already up in our place that I thought was going to be just not good. He did it. I came home and realized, wow, it was a great idea. And what I'm talking about will be released at a later time.
We'll feature it in the blog. That'll be dropped on the interior blog very soon.
It will be one of the first things.
Absolutely.
Because it's something that definitely adds interest. You wouldn't really expect where we did it, but it's all Chris's idea. I thought it was going to be a big old ugly fest. But it worked out for the better.
Everybody's a critic, bro.
Hey, listen, I'm still saying I'm architect adjacent. Sometimes people know better than you and you got to follow other people's ideas. So you don't have to listen to everybody, but sometimes you'll have that one person that has maybe just that little bit of better input than you.
It's all about open dialogue.
Yeah.
I think that's important too with this. But I think we're good. I think we got this whole thing on a handle of where we're starting off with Watch Your Mouth as far as kind of like a journal to see interior as a platform grow and to see it as not just a blog, but kind of like another place where people can get resources for not just interior stuff, but maybe certain architecture things from people in the profession, not just ourselves. And I think it's important that we have this resource and platform. So thank you for creating this.
No, thank you for helping me. If it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be creating this.
Well, I mean, I always say I think this platform was built from my intrigue in creatives, people that make music, a lot of my close friends that make music, a lot of my close friends that make make their own designer clothes. A lot of people that we went to high school that make clothes. Architects and people within the design realm of when I was in graduate school. Without me experiencing those things, I don't think there would be this brand. I think those experiences gave me an outlet to create this. So without the content creators, this brand wouldn't have ever happened, or this platform would have never happened. So thank you. But I think the big thing that I definitely want to jump into with you is the part where we kind of talk about who you are and the different aspects that got you to here. Because you mentioned it earlier that your favorite things are crime or true crime and, house fashion.
Yes. We're out here for the hashtag house fashion. House fashion.
Fashion. Fashun, definitely like
with a U,
like Andrew Schultz out here with the fashion videos. Shout out to Schultzy and the Flagrant 2 podcast. But I think I kind of want to touch on some of those true crime things. With certain things kind of going on now. A big true crime thing right now is the whole Epstein thing.
He did not kill himself.
Epstein didn't kill himself. It's so weird to hear. Like the details unfold even now. Like you'll hear from different
it doesn't
outlets.
make any sense. It truly, come on. He has 3 fractures, but that almost never happens with someone that hangs himself 4 feet off the ground.
Now, could that, not to cut you off, but could those fractures actually happen? I mean, you're not a medical professional.
I'm not a medical professional, but
neither am I.
From that distance, it is very unlikely. Very unlikely.
Well,
even
I'd like to see a medical professional's opinion on this. I wish we had like a medical professional on this.
The person that did the autopsy, I think he did a review for 60 Minutes, said that he has never seen this happen in someone that has taken their life in this way.
Really?
Guys, come on. 3 fractures when barely one doesn't happen. Based on pictures, you see residue that should be on whatever he used, but it wasn't. Mm-hmm. It's only on him. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the word. On his neck, the marks look significantly thinner than what they're saying he used to kill himself. It just doesn't make sense.
It's a weird situation.
Very highly unlikely that he has taken his own life. I know this is a big jump, but this is after house fashion. The thing that I love the most is to talk about not conspiracies, but true crime stuff. So this is why it's going this way.
Right. But I mean, that was just a topic because I was at the top of my head since it's obviously such a big topic, but what is, as a true crime subject, what's your favorite or one of the cases that kind of left you wanting for more, that got you into the whole true crime scene to begin with?
Oh, let's not even go here. It's John Benet Ramsey, baby.
John Benet Ramsey. Now, why, for people that don't know, what is so interesting about the case, or what are the main things in the case that got people so hyped up about it? What was it?
So she was a child pageant girl.
Like a pageant queen?
Yeah, she was a child pageant queen. She literally a toddler. Unfortunately, was randomly found in the basement, one of the closets in the basement of her house, unfortunately deceased. And no one in the house apparently knew what happened. There was a note from someone that had supposedly broken in and taken her life, but no one heard what was going on. There was a 911 call that didn't make any sense. The letter left didn't make any sense, but it was also compared and matched one of her parents' handwritings.
Oh no.
There was a phone call that, I think it was a 911 call that literally didn't make any sense. This whole case is just literally living in the upside down.
No, wait, was she home by her? I don't get it.
Everyone was home. Her mom, her dad, her brother, and her were all home. So no one seems to have heard anyone breaking into the house. But unfortunately, this little girl was found deceased in the basement of her home once I believe the cops arrived. It makes no sense.
Bang. The way. Okay.
So when this happened, I immediately, when I found out about this, I literally just started subscribing to all the true crime things. We've gone to a true crime convention because I'm so obsessed with it. Hashtag CrimeCon. Get out here and follow them.
And even though I know some of the things they did at CrimeCon were a little iffy, but we could discuss
it wasn't
that
the people. It wasn't the people making the event. More the people that attended the event. But that's for another day.
The people that attended. No, it was just one person that spoke at the event that I didn't think got enough clapback for what he was saying.
Well, true.
I don't know. We can talk about that later.
Well, I completely lost my train of thought. Sorry.
I'm sorry. That was completely my fault. You were talking about John Renee Ramsey.
That case was what really took me in. And so I subscribed to tons of true crime podcasts. Complete, like, what do you call it? Shout out to True Crime Garage because they are the best out here drinking beer and talking about true crime, like true crime junkies.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna lie.
And the guys are absolutely awesome. We met them at CrimeCon.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to them. We talked about lizard people together.
But they've kind of just made my love for this even deeper. It is a little harsh when it's what I listen to at like 8 a.m. getting ready for work. I'm sorry for that, but you know.
Did that, like, now, yeah, you had an affinity for something, for like true crime. How did that tie in with the interior thing? Because I mean,
it doesn't really, but I've always had a fascination with why people do the things they do. My fascination isn't really with the crime, but more with the person that commits the crime. Why do they commit the crime?
So psychology behind it.
What takes them to do what they do? Criminal psychology is what attracts me to true crime. I want to figure out why people do the things they do. Is it nature or nurture? Why exactly do they feel the need to take someone else's life? Or what are the things that are left behind in a scene that helps me find you?
Right.
Or that helps them find you, because I'm not out here finding all the criminals.
Right.
But that's the exciting part to me. It's the chase.
Okay. I mean, it's a reach, but I think there's certain elements of how something in space, or how a space is either laid out, or things in a space that could affect someone's psychology, that maybe that's where the gap is bridged, I guess, or maybe that could be where those two things are. Maybe they just don't correlate at all. It's just two things that you had a large fascination with. But
yeah, I would go with the first. I would go with the second one because
the first one is definitely a reach.
Yeah, it's definitely like a big reach.
Oh, geez.
It's
I was
like
trying to figure something out.
Like, there's things that, depending on how furniture is laid out in a room, you could figure out kind of how the crime was committed, but not really.
Yeah. I feel you.
Not really like, oh, they had a nightstand in a corner that nothing was next to, so this means they're crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't, like, that's kind of a reach, but there's definitely things with placement or
like a layout or something like that.
Yeah, that'll help you afterwards to figure out the succession of the crime.
Right.
But not really the beginning parts.
Okay, that makes sense. But I think it's interesting that there's like this dichotomy that you have in your brain. It's one half true crime, one half nice rugs and stuff.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but
so I was trying to see like, where that connection is. Like, I don't know, maybe there's for sure a niche audience like that you definitely just tapped into.
Yeah, all the crazies out here. Just like me.
I don't think they're crazy. I don't think you're crazy.
Okay, maybe I'm just talking about myself then.
You found two things that don't necessarily go together, but for some reason you have an affinity for both, which I think is pretty interesting. I would like to see that explored maybe throughout the brand, or throughout the platform, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much blood spatter will intrigue someone that wants to know where to place their couch.
Yeah, I don't really see that.
Let's see, but I'll definitely talk to you about crazy stuff on here.
Oh, for sure. Hey, if you have any other, theories or ideas or true crime things you want to get out, you let me know.
Reach out. I'm willing to look at anything with you.
Yeah, that's dope. Definitely.
Any new case that you don't know, hit me up on social. It's interi.HER. Send me all the links, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I want to look into it all.
You should definitely have a tab for that when we start the website. I think that'd be really cool to see the kind of interaction that you have. But yeah, what else?
Hopefully not too crazy, but I'm here for all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if publicly, but in private, your girl's listening to all this weird stuff.
All right. Definitely wanted to get your take on a couple things if you don't have any.
Sure.
But I think there's a couple more of like the not professional and things, but
I'll put my legal hat on. Let's do this.
You'll put your legal hat on? I don't think any of these questions are legal stuff.
Well, I just mean professional though.
All right, but definitely. Is there either a work that you're most proud of or some sort of aspiration that you have other than what we've already covered with the platform?
Work I'm most proud of?
I mean, this is more on the creative end. You've started the brand now, but we haven't branched out. We haven't had the brand go that far yet, but either that or an aspiration or who you'd like to collaborate with. I think
who'd I love to collaborate with?
Yeah, for sure.
Chris loves Julia. Listen, I want to build something with them. That would be so awesome.
Dope. All right, let's get that out.
Let's get some cabinet faces in here. Let's collaborate on some colors, maybe.
Okay.
Let's expand. So let's do the thing.
I see you. Definitely. I think that's dope. I mean, if you market yourself properly, I think you can collaborate with just about anyone. It's all about persistence. It's all about having the right mindset.
Consistency is key.
And having the right content. I think obviously you're in the right lane for that.
I mean, it's literally the other half of all I watch. So
right, that's.
I'm here learning from people doing the best of the best. So I don't doubt that we'll be able to do great things together.
Sounds dope.
Not just us and them, but you and me, because we're building right now.
I love to hear that. That's definitely the path we're trying to take. Is there anything you have on your notepad?
My notepad? No, we've hit all of it.
You got everything?
Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you for joining us on the journey. We're excited to see what happens in the future with Interior. We're excited to see the things going on with Clique. Once again, Jess, if you want to give them your socials and places where they can reach out.
Yeah, feel free to reach out. My Instagram for Interior is interi.HER. There will be more socials soon, but for right now, if you want to reach out, send me those crazy true crime links. That's where you should hit me up.
Okay, definitely. And for more info on Clique, collaboration, different things that we can get to as far as the Watch Your Mouth podcast and Clique as a platform in general. clique.the.mag on Instagram, clique.the.mag collaborators on LinkedIn, and Twitter is clique.the.mag as well. And then we also have our clique.the.mag.com. Hit us up. We're always looking to collaborate. I know I have a couple people that already hit our email about collaborations. We're definitely going to get back to a lot of you within a timely fashion.
And if you want a great logo, reach out. He does a great job.
Reach out. We're always looking to collaborate. We're trying to make something new. We are building this brand, so we're still working out the whole scheduling situations. We do have publications going right now. So right now we're focusing on a lot of the publications. But when the time comes, we're always looking to collaborate. We're trying to build this platform and not just us. And we definitely want to see the interesting things that you guys are making.
Like you say, let's make dope shit.
Absolutely. Let's make dope shit together. Absolutely. Keep creating. Without creatives, without people making things, this platform would be nothing. So let's see what everyone has to offer and and see how we can collaborate. As always, welcome to the Collaboration Chamber. Peace.
Bye.
My bad, can you repeat what you just said? Regurgitate the deuces, how a nigga throw it up. Sure enough, the ashtray stay filled with guts. Get it how you live, and I'm living, another day, what a blessing. Do you and go get it, that's the message. Why yo got that flavor, nigga? How's it tasting? Amazing. Dropping hot just like shell casings. Meanwhile, keeping pressure in these blunts I'm facing. Full house, ain't no room for debate. To the top, I'ma zoom, I'ma skate. To the top, I'ma zoom, I'ma skate.